Hello friends and welcome to my channel. I am Noelle and today we are going to make an 18th century wrapping gown, but we're going to do it almost entirely by machine because ain't nobody got time for all that hand sewing right now. As many of you may know, I am going to a ball in St. Louis and also have a bunch of photo shoots to do. It's happening in like a week and a half. I'm in such a rush, but there's a tea the next day that is an underwear tea. And I would really like a wrapping gown to wear to this tea to just, you know, be a little more covered or be able to flop it off if I want to be a little more uncovered in my underwear. To get ready for this wrapping gown, I watched the wrapping gown videos of so many people. I watched Kate's, hers is really good. It explains like the easiest way to do this, getting measurements, all that stuff. I watched Nicole's. She has hers part of her like historical pirate video, which was a great set of instructions. She does some of hers on the machine, so that gave me permission to do mine on my machine too. I also watched the Burnley and Trowbridge video about how to make this wrapping gown. I do have the Burnley and Trowbridge pattern. I'm going to use it. I'm going to show it to you. Could I take these measurements super easily? Yes, I can. Is my brain kind of weird right now? Yeah. So I'm just going to use the pattern. When you see this pattern, you're going to laugh at me because it's ridiculously easy. All you need is the measurement from the nape of your neck to your wrist and your height and your chest measurement, and you can easily figure out how to make this guy. Okay, here is the Burnley and Trowbridge pattern, which I bought and then had printed because I am lazy right now. This measurement right here is the nape of your neck to your wrist. This measurement right here is 1/4 of your chest measurement. You want it definitely to be looser than your chest, so this one is I think like 56 inches to the size 1. My chest is 46 inches, so I'm gonna fit in here just fine. And then the top to the floor is gonna be your shoulder to floor measurement also. I just wanted to point out that this pattern does allow you 3 sleeve options. There is the tapered sleeve, the straight edge sleeve, and the wide mouth sleeve. I'm gonna use the straight edge sleeve because that one feels the best to me. It also shows you pleat placement if you want to pleat the top shoulder, maybe get a little bit more of a fitted look. I think I'm gonna go without pleats, but we'll deal with that later. Okay, so I am 59 inches from my shoulder to the floor. This guy is 56 inches, which is perfect, exactly what we want it to be, because you don't, I mean, you could have a drape on the floor. You could have it have a train if you want to. You can add all of the extra if you feel like it. I feel like I'm gonna trip over it and I'm gonna drag it around and it could be raining and like, no. I'm gonna make it like ankle length and be happy with that. I have some commentary on this pattern already. It wastes a lot of paper, I will say that. Like, I am so grateful to have a pattern so my brain doesn't have to do this. Kate did these measurements and like drew this out, and so did Nicole, like on her fabric, so it's really not that difficult. So like, you do not need this pattern. My soul wanted this pattern to make things easier. It does waste a lot of paper. If you're not gonna have it printed and you're gonna print it at home, what I would suggest is actually going through the PDF and only choosing the pieces of the puzzle that have actual pieces on them, because not all of them will. Like, I cut off many pages of blank space, so like it might be worth saving a little paper to do that. Okay, let's talk about fabrics. So somehow I ended up deep diving down some Halloween fabrics. I pulled out a bunch. I did a poll on the internet. Anyway, we got to this copper, which is shot green, which you can kind of see it in there. Like, it's hard to get the green to show, but you can see the reflections in there, right? I expected people to pick the green interior that I had, but they didn't. They wanted me to go with black interior. This is sadly the last of my black silk. I had so much black silk and now it's all gone. Anyway, so we are going to use this on the outside and this will be the lining. I think I'm going to wear my black linen stays and either my silk petticoat or my black linen petticoat as my like underwear, obviously with the shift and stuff. So this goes really well. The bottom of the pattern is 28.5 inches wide, which means you need 57-inch fabric. Cool. I do not have 57-inch fabric. This copper fabric is 56 inches. This is 54 inches, which is kind of a bummer. So I'm probably going to end up piecing this guy here just a little bit on the bottom. Like I only need like that much. So it'll just be like a little nugget stitched onto the edge of the bottom. All right, I'm going to go piece and cut some fabric. And while I do that, I'm going to let you talk to Sponsorship Noelle to hear all about today's sponsor and one of my very favorite games, June's Journey. As you guys know, I've spent a lot of time needing to do self-care recently, and one of the things that has helped me a ton is playing mobile games. My favorite mobile game, June's Journey, is no exception. It is a hidden object game that is set in the 1920s. You play a character called June, who is a lady detective who is trying to solve her sister's murder, and it scratches every itch I have. It's a hidden object game, so it's like kind of like a game of memory, except the things that are hidden in the same place every time, but they keep adding more things all over the screen every time that you level up, and I am constantly trying to max out each level every time I play. So each time I play it, the same level, more and new stuff shows up. So I'm always like, new thing, which is like great because it keeps it in really engaging. There's also a little perfection renovation situation that goes on because there's a mansion on an island and you're decorating your island and your yard and you're trying to make sure that it has like the most perfect, pristine little pathways, and that's fun. And these two things are sort of interspersed and they rely on each other to keep the game going, which is really fun. And I can spend hours playing this game. It's also weirdly really great if you're just like in line at the grocery store and need something to do for like 5 minutes, because each scene is timed, so it's not that long of a game. So you can use this game kind of for short periods of time play, or sitting in your bed for a couple hours just vegging and chilling and playing your game. It's really fun. You can download June's Journey entirely for free by clicking the link in my description below or the QR code above. It's available for iOS, for Android, and on your computer through Facebook Games. If you haven't tried June's Journey, I highly suggest you give it a go. It's really fun. Thank you to June's Journey for sponsoring this video today. Okay, this only requires 2 pattern cuts, which one is this arc here and one is the bottom. So I'm gonna go ahead and piece this guy. I need 21 inches because this is 10.5 and it's times 2, right? Because this is one big sleeve and it's all one piece over the top. So I need 21 inches long by like 2.5 inches, which is such a small amount. This one is even dumber, but I'm gonna do it and just put it on there. So it's just a couple inches that I need. But I need 4 pieces for this one, and I need 2 pieces for that one because it's 2 sleeves. The one thing you do have to remember at this point is that you are determining inside and outside at this point. So I'm just going to call this the outside, and therefore this piece is an outside piece, and this piece faces in, and this piece is an inside piece, and this piece is an outside piece. Because if I opened this up, that's what that would look like. This guy, these are both outside because of how this works. So I just have to make sure that I do the seam the right way on all of them so that I don't get to the part where I open this whole thing up and go, oh, I have a seam on the outside. So you just got to be really careful about that. All right, here is my stupid tiny addition. Probably what that's actually going to end up being is like, I will roll these cuffs up, so you will never actually see this line, but maybe you will. I don't know. I hate that that's right there. I mean, I could have moved it farther up, but it seems like a waste of fabric. So this is what I do. I add a little edge to all of them, so I add a little bonus. And then I'm just going to recut the pattern, and it'll cut fine. I've seen a lot of people do tutorials where they're like, okay, so you have to count for the seam allowance and then you look on the pattern for how much it is. And essentially I would cut a piece that's like this. And that is so small to work with. Like, it's easier to just make it have more fabric and then cut it out for me. I respect the other method. All methods are just suggestions. This is my suggestion. This is even kind of more stupid because most of this is going to be in the seam allowance here and there. So like you're going to get like just the top. Okay, it's done. Okay, I've got that all done on both the lining and the exterior fabric. Now we have to do 2 more cuts. We have to do a front opening. So I need one side of this to have a slit down the front and then the opening for my neck. Luckily for my purposes, I have a little template. This is 3 1/4 inches for the smaller size. If you have a bigger neck, then that is 6 inches wide in the back. Cut that number in half. That's how big your slit is. So let me show you what I'm gonna do and then I'll show you doing it. So right now, this is folded so that there is a front that is wrapping all the way around and a back that is wrapping inside of this. I'm going to take just the top 1 layer of this and cut straight up this to the top. And then I'm going to lay that template down and I'm going to cut my neck hole. This little guy right here is meant to be the second sleeve and I'm going to do this cut again. That's probably about that long. Okay, you can see the center front opening there. Why am I always filming on the black one? I have marked where this template says number 1 should go with some pins. And I'm going to take these 2 sides right here and gently cut up on both of them to open up the neck hole. Okay, now that that is done, I'm going to do it again. The exact same thing, but with the outer fabric. Okay, so all of the cuts are done, and now we're going to go into construction. I'm going to use the Burnley and Trowbridge method, which is a weird little flippy trick that they did on their video. So I'm going to link all the videos I mentioned down below for you, so in case you want to go watch those also. Super complicated visually, but once I think you do it once, I think it'll be fine. Once I do it once, I think it'll be fine, but I'm trying to imagine it in my head. The first thing we have to do is lay this whole thing out front to front, so right sides together, and do a few of the seams. So I'm going to show you which seams those are now. Also, I don't have space to lay this whole thing out like that. So we're going to do our best and do half at a time. Okay, so here are the instructions. I'm going to do this hem, the sleeve hems, and then this hem, and then up the center front, but not catching any of the neck hole. Okay, what you're seeing here is the front of the garment. These are the sleeves, and that is the back of the garment. If you have a dining room table, this may be your go-to method, I'm not sure. The first thing I'm going to do is just pin the back hem and the sleeve hems and get those done, and then I'm going to come repin the front and get those done. Okay, I've got the sleeves done and the back done. Now I'm going to pin the front all along here and the hem at the same time and just do it as one big one. Not the neck opening. Critical, because the neck opening is how you flip this thing inside out at some point. Okay, I did the flip trick that I learned on Burnley and Trowbridge's video. This is almost impossible for me to describe to you, especially with this fabric. I am going to put the timestamp down below, but where this flip trick happens in that video, so you can go watch that video. I did it on this one. I'm going to sew this up. It is very much like the sleeve flip trick, where you put 2 sleeves or the sleeve and the lining together and you kind of stack them in 4 and you do one seam and then you flip it, and then you can turn it inside out and it's all sewn. It's kind of the same thing as that, except this seems a lot more complicated than it is until you do it one time. But the first time you watch it, you're like, wait, what? I watched this thing like 12 times. I will go ahead and seam this up and then I'll go to the other side and try to show you. Honestly, their description is going to be better than whatever I'm about to. This is essentially what is happening. You're taking this is all inside out at this point. You're going to take this corner of the front and slide it right on through the hole that's made by the sleeve, so it looks like this, and then you're just going to shove it in there. That's it. That's the whole thing. And then once it's shoved in there, it looks like this, and you just sew it up right there. This is much better than me showing you with my fabric, which is all black. So that is how it's done. What ends up happening is you have right sides facing together. This is the lining. And then right sides facing together, this is the outer, And just like that crazy sleeve flip technique, not only are you going to essentially be seaming them to make, you know, the side seam, but you're going to be seaming them together so that from then on there's no like weird bubbling or whatever, because they're all attached to each other. It's actually genius if you can get your brain around it, just doing it once. The second you do it, you're like, oh yeah, okay, this is... Okay, sorry for the sound because I'm very far away from my microphone. This is the sleeve. I'm gonna open it up and stick my hand through it. This is the front of the garment, that is the back. I'm gonna go ahead and take the front corner, the corner that can still open here, and just pull it through the sleeve. And the sleeve, as you do that, will start to also turn. And you do want to let that turn in half. And then you have this flappy bit here, and it's also going to want to turn. So you're just going to let it turn. And so now right sides are going to be out. And while I'm here, I'm going to take the opportunity to like make sure this little corner gets pulled out as sharp as it can for right now. If you want to use a point turner, now's your time, because you're never going to have access to this little spot ever again. From the inside, of course. So now your front section is right sides out. This guy is turned kind of inside out, and it's halfway, but the right sides are together. And you're going to take this end and just shove it into the bottom. I'm going to demonstrate. This is the front. This is the back. You open it up here, there's the front of the garment and the back, the inside lining of the garment. You take this guy, and you just slide it on in there. Exactly like that picture. And then all of the raw edges for this whole side of the garment that are still left are all in this one curve. So you just then kind of have to straighten these guys and take the bottom edges and match them up so that they're in the exact same spot together. So then you can pin those and start getting all these raw edges settled and pretty and then pinned. Okay, I'm going to do a little edge clipping on the edge here, just around this curve maybe, on both sides, and then we're going to flip it right sides out. Okay, clipping is all done. Okay, so this is the lining, and this is the exterior of the lining. And then here is the exterior fabric. What we're going to do is go in here in the exterior of the fabric and flip it inside out so that the exterior is the one that's on the outside. So you kind of want to leave the lining part alone and just go for the exterior, grabbing in here and flipping it, grabbing down there and flipping it, like get it all the way out, and then essentially putting the lining to the inside. Okay, she looks like a puffy jacket. Super cute. So this is now just a matter of like you know, you can iron it. I do want to like kind of work all the edges out. This is the totality of my piecing on the outside. That is it on the inside. That's all it was. Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of work the edges down. I might do a little light ironing, but not too much. I think Puffy's a little okay, although it's gonna go in luggage, so it's gonna get smashed. So maybe I prefer to have it, you know, at least somewhat ironed. So that's where we're at the moment. So I'm gonna go ahead and take care of some of the smushing out, and then we're gonna deal with the neck. Okay, if you play fast and loose like I did by cutting it the way I did, you might snag your interior fabric. So my scissors cut a hole. This is a bummer. I gotta make a tiny little and hand sew a little patch on there, and it'll be fine. Probably no one will notice, but even if they do, I don't care. Anyway, that's a bummer, but whatever. Okay, we have these two neck pieces. I'm gonna go ahead and iron down a fold in on all four sides on both of these pieces. Okay, I've opened up the collar so that it looks like a rectangle as such. And then I have pinned the collar in, and then I will essentially backstitch this on here. Here are my tiny little stitches to get this guy on here. So that's all on. I'm going to go ahead and clean up some of this because it is fraying like crazy, and then lay in the black one and then fell that all down. Here's some black on black of the inside of the collar filled down. And here is what she looks like on my body. She's fully reversible. Like, you can wear this the opposite way if you want to, black with the copper on the inside. I love the way this drape's open. I can make a belt, sash, and just tie it if I need to. I've rolled the cuff up just a little bit. I like it. I feel good about it. This is a great one. Also, I did it in like a day. Well, actually a little bit more than a day because I cut the fabric yesterday, so yeah, it was a great project. I really liked it. I thought it was simple and effective to do it on the machine. It didn't actually require me to do it by hand sewing. You, of course, can hand sew that if you want to. Nah, I'm good. Okay, here's the current project list, and we're doing good, actually. Like, things are happening. This guy's going pretty well. I'll definitely get that. I'll have some sashes for sure. That's a question. I don't think that's gonna happen, but it might. This might also happen. We'll see. This might happen instead of that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. So I hope you like this project. It was super fun. I highly recommend it. Like, it's a good one. That flippy thing, you don't have to do that. You could bagline it in any way you want to bagline. I mean, you could bagline it absolutely normally and then just pull it through the collar in the exact same way that I did. However, it's kind of nice to have the side seams anchored to each other because then the lining isn't completely floating in there. It adds a little stability to it, which I do recommend. So yeah. Anyway, leave me messages down below. Let me know what you're up to, what you are watching, what you're listening to, what you're reading. I am watching Our Flag Means Death that just came back. I'm very excited. Loki just came back. I'm very excited. I'm about to get on a plane to go see Pink in concert tomorrow. So like, things are jumping around here. And then when I get back, I have 8 days before I have to leave on my trip to do the rest of my Angelica gown and anything else I want to get done. So I'm a little bit like, okay, we'll see how this goes. Lynn is on some feather headdresses for me. She's already gonna loan me some fans. So at least I will be accoutered properly. This will be fantastic. She's also resetting my hedgehog for me because it was a little bit frizzy and it needed to have itself taken down. So Lynn has done that for me. She's an angel. I love it. All right, that's all from me. I will see you guys next time with another video. If you liked this one, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't, ring the bell if you want to, and I'll see you next time with another video. And make sure that you go down into the description below and click the link to download June's Journey. Bye guys!